Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Welcome to This Week in Prophecy. We have Hamas on notice, Kuala Lumpur, peace accords, and Hurricane Melissa, out there churning, taking dead aim on Jamaica. So we're going to start with Hamas, and again, for some of you folks who've been following for a while, this is review. In the Hebrew, Hamas is translated as violence. So when we see violence in our Bibles, the Hebrew word is Hamas. So it can also be translated as violence, wrong, or malicious in the Bible as well. We're going to take a look at Ezekiel 7 as a reminder. And again, the context from Ezekiel 7 is the land of Israel. Ezekiel 7:11, I'm going to substitute Hamas where we see violence. Hamas has grown up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor their abundance, nor their wealth, neither shall there be preeminence among them. Okay, so we know their future. They're going to cease to be. So the question gets to be, is the political group Hamas, is this the Hamas, the violence of the Bible? Forge a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence, or Hamas. Ezekiel 7:25, when anguish comes, they will seek peace, but there shall be none. Very similar to what we're watching today. So, with the signing of the peace agreement a week or so ago, Hamas continues they've come out of hiding, and then now they're starting to kill their own citizens within what's left of theirs in the Gaza Strip. And part of the deal was, it's like, you guys are out of power. Well, soon as the hostages were released and some of the the deceased bodies were given back, they started trying to reassert their control authority within the Gaza Strip, killing people, publicly killing people, filming it, and so forth. What's not gone unnoticed, dear Hamas, if Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza, which was not the deal, we will have no choice but to go in and kill them. Thank you for your attention in this matter, or to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So J.D. Vance goes over there, Vice President Vance goes over to Israel this past week, and he's taking questions, and they start to ask him questions, and he defers to Mr. Kushner over here in the far right. Well, Jared's the investor here. Oh, wait a minute, Jared's the investor. Huh. So Kushner's got some money involved in this, and, looking back on it, some of the context of the conversation was, well, we've been planning this. Him and, I believe it was Witkoff, Special Envoy Witkoff, they've been talking about this, planning this for 2 years. And that's what's really got a lot of people on the left irritated, is this is private money. This is not government dollars. And so these things, instead of the United States taxpayer paying for the reconstruction, private investment is moving in. Trump's reached out to his son-in-law, who's buddies with a lot of the folks over there in the Middle East. And essentially the U.S. is passing on their authority to a private investor. Yes, I know there's all kinds of legal considerations. I've heard those arguments. I've seen those things. But the bottom line is, it's private money that's going to pay for it. And somebody's taken serious economic risk to go do that. And it's just like with, I believe it was Elon was the one who signed the big check, with the government shutdown, wrote a check for $190 million to pay military personnel. And they're upset about that too. Well, it's like, it's somebody's private money. If somebody were to write a $190 million check to the Treasury, hey, I'm just going to donate some money here to the Treasury. Not even, and say it's taxes, then that would be wonderful. But for somebody to go do this privately, we got a problem with that. I mean, it's hypocritical. But anyway, Jared's investing. He's got some other wealthy folks who are investing. And then Kushner comes out and says the quiet part out loud: no reconstruction aid will go into Hamas-controlled areas. Now, you can listen to both of these little videos here from J.D. Vance and then also from Jared Kushner. And we'll take a look at this in more detail. Israel dividing Gaza into two zones is a fascinating strategic play. The section under Israeli control will likely see rapid development with international backing. That's Kushner and friends are going to pony up a lot of the money. The Hamas-controlled areas will struggle to access any construction materials. And at some point, Gazans will have to decide, build a normal life or stay under Hamas rule. And if you listen to Trump and the people that signed off on the peace agreement with Hamas staying in control or in rule is not an option. And essentially looking to force civil unrest with what's left of inside the Gaza Strip here, inside of the yellow toward the sea. So everything in the yellow will receive funding, investment from international contributors. Israel retains control of 58% of the Gaza Strip. So, and they're putting barriers along here. And I think they're actually yellow barriers, like a Jersey barrier that's been painted yellow to define the situation, if you will. So, those are your happenings inside of Gaza. And then also, if you want to click back on the word study of what does Hamas mean in the Hebrew, you can go back to that as well. So with that, we'll transition to 1 Thessalonians 5:3. While people are saying there is peace and security, sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. And so the Bible talks of a time of false peace, the calm before the storm, before all hell breaks loose with the onset of the 7-year tribulation. So the question gets to be, is this what we are watching in today's news and current events? Because I think peace and safety and security, it's everywhere. Trump's brokered 8 different deals for peace between warring factions. And he still hasn't solved the Ukraine-Russia situation, but you got to think that's probably going to happen. You would think it would. I'm not completely open to the fact that it will happen. I wonder if at some point Russia doesn't do something pretty drastic. They don't feel boxed into a corner, and they respond with significant force and dare I say, a nuclear weapon, a small one, just to send a message. Because, I mean, if you look at Ezekiel 38 and 39, everybody kind of stands around. It's like, are you really going to come do this into Israel? Are you going to invade into Israel? And that's lining up prophetically because it's the modern day Saudis, ancient Sheba and Dedan are the ones, and some friends talking about, are you really going to go do this to Russia? And those factions, they've not joined the Abraham Accords yet to normalize relations with Israel, but you can see it potentially coming. Which takes us to Kuala Lumpur. President Donald J. Trump brokered the Kuala Lumpur peace accords between Thailand and Cambodia, secured reciprocal trade deals with Malaysia and Cambodia, issued joint trade statements with Thailand and Vietnam, elevated relations with Malaysia, and deepened U.S.-Cambodia cooperation on defense and transnational crime. President Trump also participated in the 13th annual U.S. ASEAN Summit meeting. So here's a tweet from the White House. Historic peace between Thailand and Cambodia. President Trump and Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim hosted the Prime Ministers of Thailand and Cambodia for the signing of the Kuala Lumpur Peace Accords, a historic peace declaration. And again, if you want to watch the video and the signing, click on the arrow. You can watch it. Now we're going to take a look at some of the details of this agreement. Click on this link for those of you following along on the website. Here's the fact sheet. Also, this sidebar: Democrats have shut down the government for 25 days, 18 hours, blah, blah, blah. Fact sheet: President Donald J. Trump secures peace and prosperity in Malaysia. So all this was the initial statement is from here. Achieving historic peace between Thailand and Cambodia. Here are the details. Through decisive U.S. diplomacy, Thailand and Cambodia reached a pivotal agreement to establish border observer teams, a critical step in solidifying long-term peace and fostering mutual trust between the two countries. Thailand will release 18 Cambodian soldiers that have been detained since July. Landmark achievement for international diplomacy that only Trump could accomplish. Securing even more trade deals. Reciprocal trade with Malaysia and Cambodia. Frameworks for trade negotiations with Thailand and Vietnam as well. U.S. and Malaysia agreed to a historic trade deal that will open up Malaysia's market for U.S. exports. Malaysia will eliminate or reduce tariffs on nearly all U.S. exports and allow non-discriminatory or preferential market access for U.S. agriculture and industrial goods. So good news for the American farmer. Malaysia will address a range of non-tariff barriers to ensure that U.S. exporters can access its market. Eliminate the discriminatory practice for U.S. motor vehicles. Good news for Detroit. U.S. vehicles can now compete on a level playing field in Malaysia's market. Malaysia will also recognize U.S. regulatory oversight, ensuring that U.S. ag products can be exported to Malaysia without burdensome and duplicative regulatory requirements. So the U.S. and Cambodia, unprecedented access to Cambodia's market. Cambodia has agreed to eliminate all tariffs, including food and agricultural and industrial products. U.S. exports to Cambodia will not face a duty. And Cambodia has committed to treat U.S. exports fairly, including recognizing regulatory oversight to ensure that U.S. goods do not need to undergo burdensome additional testing requirements. And U.S. exports to Cambodia will no longer face competitive disadvantages vis-a-vis other trading partners. Thailand address tariff and non-tariff barriers. Thailand would eliminate tariff barriers on approximately 99% of goods. Again, industrial, food, and ag products. Vietnam, reciprocal fair balanced trade. Address tariff and on-tariff barriers for U.S. ag products and industrial goods. Vietnam would provide preferential market access for substantially all U.S. industrial and ag products to Vietnam. So the American farmer and U.S. industry are big winners with this. U.S.-Malaysian relationship. Trump and Prime Minister Anwar, transformative deals that will deliver billions into the U.S. economy. 3.4 billion U.S. LNG purchases through multi-year agreements with Petronas in Malaysia. So lots of natural gas getting ready to head across the Pacific. 42.6 million annually in U.S. coal sales to Malaysia. Purchases of U.S. telecommunication products and services valued at $119 million. Purchase of 30 Boeing aircraft, plus purchase option for 30 additional aircraft. Semiconductors, aerospace components, data center equipment with an estimated value of $150 billion, that's with a B, dollars. It's a good deal. U.S. and Malaysia signed a memorandum of understanding. Critical minerals, which will lead to an expansion of trade and investment in critical minerals, including exploration, extraction, refinement, manufacturing, recovery, and recycling. Create new opportunities for U.S. and Malaysian companies, open up alternative markets for critical minerals, and help diversify global critical mineral supply chains. So, big announcements with Malaysia. Also, cooperation in maritime security, maritime domain awareness. Philippines and Malaysia committed to the principles of safe and transparent space exploration by signing the Artemis Accords. Total number of signatory countries to 59. So, also some things signed with Cambodia. Diligent pursuit of peace and security, of course. Will remove the arms embargo on Cambodia, so now they'll be able to buy military equipment from the United States. Increase seats for Cambodian officers at U.S. military colleges like West Point, that'd be the Army and the Air Force. Cooperation combating transnational crime organizations, including narcotics, online scam centers, enterprises that steal over $10 billion annually from vulnerable Americans. So, very comprehensive. And lastly, with Thailand, expand defense relationships, further secure our supply chains. Law enforcement to advance investigations of cyber and financial crimes with scam centers. So I guess a lot of these scam centers are coming out of Southeast Asia. Trump and Prime Minister of Thailand signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Secure and diversify critical mineral supplies, promote partnerships between U.S. and Thai companies, increase global supply chain resilience, mitigate the negative impact of anti-competitive behavior and unfair trade practices such as dumping heavy subsidies, and low standards through price floors and similar measures. So that pretty well tells you what's going on there. And the bottom line with this, China watched all this happen, and now we feel like we've got a pretty good relationship where all these 100% tariffs are not going to be necessary. And Trump's supposed to meet with Xi, I think, on Thursday here in a few days. Things are looking up with Chinese relationships. And bottom line is China's being squeezed in more way than one. You look who we just signed all these deals with just south of China. So Luke 21, verse 25, part B. And on the earth, distress of nations and perplexity because of the roaring of the sea and the waves. And so the seas are figuratively seen in Scripture as the nations. So as the waves of the sea roar, the nations roar. It's synonymous. It's idiomatic, allegorical, if you will. It's an object lesson. The roaring of the seas, the roaring of the nations, seas equal nations, etc. is the idea. Hurricane Melissa is approaching Jamaica. And this is a day or two out. And it's been raining there for days, and the ground is already saturated. So there is water flowing through the streets, and it's just starting. Locally, up to 40 inches of rain are expected in, I believe it would be like the eastern half of Jamaica. This is going to be very ugly. This is from Dr. Levi Cohen. He studies hurricanes. We'll take a look at this specifically. Melissa is now a Category 4 hurricane with max winds of 140 miles per hour as it moves slowly westward to the south of Jamaica, Fluctuations in Melissa's intensity, both up and down, may occur between now and the anticipated landfall in Jamaica on Tuesday. I mean, so we're Sunday evening, so we're still looking, 36 hours out before this thing makes landfall. Due to mid-level shear, potentially eye wall replacement cycles, and varying ocean temperatures beneath the storm. So, major impacts to Jamaica are expected, along with those already seen in Hispaniola, eastern Cuba, southeastern Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos are also expected to see direct impacts from Melissa later this week, hoping everyone stays safe. So here's the rainfall amounts. And so here we got Jamaica down here to the south of Cuba. This would be Hispaniola over here, Haiti and the DR, Dominican Republic. But you're seeing a bullseye of up to 40 inches possible. We're expecting 20 to 30 inches of rain. Again, toward the eastern third of Jamaica. Cuba, southeast Cuba, is going to take a pretty good rain hit. Upwards of 20 inches of rain. And then this is the track they're expecting. Bermuda may be in the crosshairs by Friday. Some of these little spaghetti models do have Melissa going straight up the coast and taking a direct path toward New York City. Curious. I mean, a lot can happen. We're Sunday night, and this would be like a week from now. So, want to keep our eyes on that. Fascinating to watch all this go down. And what did I see? What was it? A whole bunch of electricians. They're already putting things together, and they'll be taking off, I want to say, from Florida to go to Jamaica to help people out. I mean, because this is not going to be pretty when this goes down. And I know this irritates people. But yes, we are going to pray for these people. What good does a prayer do, they say. Do something. Well, people are going to send aid. People are going to go down there. People are going to go help them. People are going to donate money. But yes, God does hear prayers. He answers prayers and responds to those prayers. That said, we're in a broken world. And these things happen all because of sin. Oh, I know the critic doesn't like to hear that, but this is a broken world full of sin, and these are the consequences of sin. None of this stuff was intended. When it all goes down, man needs to take a hard look in the mirror, come to the understanding, we got some ownership in this. Now, it doesn't have to always be that. It won't always be that way. Jesus is going to come back. Things will get straightened out, and there will be peace, and these types of things will not happen at some point in the future. But at the core of it, just dealing with sin, one, admit it. Hey, I've screwed up. I've got some issues. And Jesus is the answer for those issues with what he did on the cross. And then once you get there, make a serious commitment to stopping whatever it is you're doing in your world. Repent from it. Change course. And, commit to following what God expects from us. He's ultimately our Father. He knows what's best for us. It's just like you think about that as a parent. You tell your kids, hey, this isn't a good idea. You know what you're talking about. Now, do kids always listen? No. Do we always listen? No. But there's an answer for it. You may not like it, but there is an answer for it. And you don't have to stay stuck in cycles. So, at any rate, wanted to pass that along. We'll definitely keep an eye on this hurricane as it ramps up. Expected to be toward Category 5 at some point within the next 24 to 36 hours. So appreciate you guys following along. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and hope everybody has a good week moving forward. Thank you to all the folks who are sharing and commenting on multiple social media sites. Much appreciated. Also appreciate the respectful and thoughtful comments that people are posting. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Bye.